I gained 100,000 followers within 3 weeks on RedNote, this biggest Chinese social media platform. Most of my followers are actually Americans. Like, what? Like, what happened? Before I dive into the viral moment, let me give you a little bit of context. So I was born and raised in China. I moved to Canada when I was 19 years old. And after I moved to Canada, I didn't really want to live a typical life of a typical Chinese international student. I know a lot of them just tend to just stay in their own clique, their community, without putting much effort into leveling up their English, their social skills. So I wanted to just go against the grain, right? I wanted to live a different lifestyle. So that's what I did. I threw myself into every challenging situation possible. For example, door-to-door sales, cold calling, street fundraising, university debating, or even club promoting. So I did live an interesting and unconventional life compared to other Chinese international students. So I wanted to share my stories, my journey to inspire more Chinese people actually, especially those who live overseas. I want to bring them some fresh ideas, a new way of thinking, a new mindset, the Western mindset. Yeah, that's why I created my Reddit account. I wanted to target Chinese people. So I started casually posting content, some photos, some videos about my life, my lifestyle, living abroad, very inconsistently actually. And I still remember it was late 2024. I briefly moved back to China while I was waiting for my Canadian PR. So at the time, my follower count was sitting at around 500. Nothing crazy, right? Some engagement, some followers, but the turning point was January 2025. I just noticed something very strange. RedNote was suddenly flooded by so many American users. I was like, what's going on? That was like hilarious for me. Oh, there are a lot of Americans jumping on the platform. You guys probably know this was the TikTok refugee wave, right? The US government was getting ready to ban TikTok. So a lot of TikTok users jump on the RedNote platform. Basically, it was like pointing a big middle finger to the government. Establishment is saying, you don't want me to use the Chinese app. We're gonna jump on the most Chinese platform. RedNote literally was no English translation and all the features in Chinese. Okay, so it was quite funny for me. So I remember that one night I made this very quick video before I went to bed. So today I woke up to a lot of Americans jumping on this app just because TikTok's getting banned in the United States, and they're called the TikTok refugees. Basically was saying, oh, all the Americans, you guys should really take advantage of this, should be China famous, you guys should make content on this platform, this is your opportunity, okay? So I didn't think too much of it, right? I didn't even put subtitles, didn't really script it, just very spontaneous act. And the next day, I woke up, my follower count went from 500 to 2,000. I was like, holy shit. 2,000 was a big number for me at the time, right? I never thought I would be able to get to 2,000 just overnight. By the end of that day, I got to like 10K. And the day after, I made a video appreciating all the support, all the new followers, say, oh, thank you guys so much for following me. That means a lot for me.
Guys, today I woke up, my follower count literally times 10, mostly from you guys from the United States. First of all, thank you guys so much for following and supporting. It means a lot to me.
I'm gonna make more content about China. You guys want to see China? I'm gonna show you guys around in Shanghai, right? All the modern infrastructure. And that video went super viral. I don't know why. Like, I didn't say anything too special, right? I was just saying hi, welcoming people, speaking English. That got me to like 50K by the end of that week. Okay, that was like a fever dream for me. From like 500 to like 50K. So I was sitting at 50K, right? And I thought that'll be it. 50K is a great number. I don't think it's gonna go anything further than that. So I just kept making more videos. So I still remember I made this video. Was about the average day of a Chinese office worker in China. And that video went super viral. Basically, I was just documenting my life, my 9 to 5 at a time, right? Interacting with my coworkers, grabbing lunch. It's not that crazy, but I guess Americans just found it very interesting. And that video went so viral, ton of comments and reshares. And pretty much at a time, every single video I made got like thousands of comments, like tens of thousands of comments. Every single one was a viral content. So that got me to 100K within 3 weeks. Holy shit. And that was very crazy. Like, it was overwhelming for me to take in. So I was having this big time imposter syndrome, since I had no idea white Americans would follow me. I didn't do anything too special, too crazy, too outside of the box. I was just saying hi, to all the American newcomers and sharing my stories and telling them about China, okay? But maybe that's exactly why it worked. And another funny thing is, based on stats, most of my followers are actually American women over age 35 and 40. All the suburban moms from Texas following me. Maybe it was because I spoke English on a Chinese platform, and the Americans would be like, wow, a Chinese guy on a Chinese platform speaking English, he's Chinese, and he's also kind of like us, Or I'm just simply too handsome. And my videos were definitely pushed by the algorithm. But whatever it was, it worked. And I noticed some other Chinese creators also started posting English content just to track more TikTok refugees as well. But no one seemed to grow as fast as I did. And also, I try to post the same content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, trying to replicate the same glory, the same success. But nothing seemed to land, okay? Nothing really took off. I guess it's only on RedNote. And not just Americans, more and more Chinese people started following me as well. And after I moved back to Toronto, I kept getting invited to different events, even as a speaker, giving a public speech. I was feeling definitely imposter syndrome. I got free dinners and free access to many cool spots, and everyone in the Chinese community in Toronto wanted to get to know me, adding me on WeChat. I was even awarded as this cultural communication influencer of the year at a red carpet event in Toronto. So for the first time in my life, I tasted fame or clout. So I feel like really the key ingredient for me to go viral was that I was at the right place, RedNote, saying the right thing, welcoming Americans, talking about China at the right time when TikTok was getting banned. And maybe a little bit of talent and a little bit of charisma as well. So when the Americans jumped on the platform, I feel like they just desperately wanted to explore the other side of the world, the Chinese world, However, most creators on this platform only speak Chinese, and it wasn't really this translation feature at a time. So some of them just came across my content where I spoke English, sharing my stories of growing up in China and living in Canada for close to a decade. I guess it not only satiated their need to understand China and Chinese people, but also made them feel relatable and resonated, okay? And I was also very welcoming in those videos. I was like, come, come to the platform or even come to China. Chinese people welcome you with open arms, and they love that shit. They're like, oh, I didn't know Chinese people are so welcoming. You guys are so kind. You guys are so nice. And for my Chinese followers following me at a time, I believe that they're already very used to Chinese creators speaking Chinese. So it's probably a little bit of fresh air to see a Chinese guy speaking English. And Chinese people typically have this mixed feelings towards other Chinese people speaking English. And it was like this love-hate relationship. Some of them will find it very intriguing, and some will just become haters out of jealousy, okay? But it definitely attracts attention regardless. To be honest, I wasn't really ready to take on all the traffic, to get all these following, because technically, I was still very new to content production, to making content. Right, my editing skill was pretty amateur still. I didn't know how I was supposed to feel, but I started just having more performance anxiety, because now it's like, oh, every content needs to go viral. Every piece of content needs to have thousands of comments, otherwise I'll be a failure, right? So I started just having so much anxiety and I think about metrics all the time. So initially when I was making content, it was all about creativity and passion. But since I went viral, technically that took away the fun, right? The creative part of it. So I was like stressed all the time. I was sweating about like how other people would perceive me as well. So I was actually getting to know how some other influencers feel like at a daily basis, their mental health struggle. And at the same time, I actually got more confused than ever about my content direction. Initially I wanted to make videos for the Chinese people, but now I got all the Americans, they wanted to learn more about China. So I had to, I guess, shift my content direction just to cater to their preference, right? So I had to make content about China, about Chinese culture and stuff like that. But I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do. I didn't just want to make my channel, my entire persona about China. I'm more than just a country or a culture. I want to share my stories, right? I wanted to make it like a personal brand thing. Okay. Yeah, so I was so confused. I didn't know what content I was supposed to make, but I just kept posting. I just kept making more and more videos. Then I had an epiphany, and I feel like oftentimes you don't really have the luxury to define your niche or even your life direction. But as long as you just keep taking actions, if you're brave enough, just keep going, like never stop, your destiny, your niche will eventually unveil itself. And it'll be a big disservice not to take on the path, because God just makes it so obvious for you. It's like God literally pointing at a path, like, this is your path. This is your way. You just got to do it, right? So I started getting so many DMs. All the DMs just started rolling in. A lot of Chinese people reached out to me saying, they got so inspired by my content, my stories, including how I improved my English, how I became socially confident in English-speaking society. And at the same time, Americans reaching out to me saying, I have helped them open their eyes about China, learning about a new side of China. And they're also living in the echo chamber in a way, right? So everything tells me that I need to and am destined to become a bridge between the East and West. China is a very interesting place. It has become so developed, yet still isolated from the rest of the world. Due to the internet firewall, we have our own internet there, which leaves a lot of room for cross-cultural communication, storytelling, business development, and other money-making opportunities. At the beginning, I obviously wanted to make content to inspire more Chinese people, especially those who live overseas. But now, I want to help bridge the gap between the East and West, making content, telling stories between the two worlds. And I think I'll eventually maybe start a media company in this direction. I guess this channel is going to be part of the journey, part of this media empire one day. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so this is my story of how I went super viral on RedNote. Hope you found it entertaining. So if you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be posting more videos on similar topics, right? About my personal journey, about China, about my understanding between East and West, some maybe interviews. Yeah, I have many ideas. Just stay tuned, okay? And yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.